Alright, let's go ahead and take a look real quick at what we've got for dimple flags. So, for the people that are paying attention, you'll notice there's a file here and a finer file here. I wanted to show you, so the goal here is getting a fall set on the Avis 75 IB50. So, we're going to open up what came with the Sparrow's Black Flag set. I'm going to go ahead and show you. We've got 3 right here. Here's another, and there are 6 more of the dimple flags that came with the Honest Dong Shi set, and then a couple of the pieces that I have from Multi-Pick. So, initial perspective on each one of these, I do like the Multi-Pick. They were ready to go immediately out of the box, and they're fairly forgiving. They're made very well. This was part of the CMFXA, was it green to brown dimple set? Really nice set, really fun to use. So, let me see if I can get this to focus. This is a flag for Multi-Pick, but you'll notice that it's rounded at the bottom, has a little flat piece right there. That's where it gets held inside of here with a hex, and then you can go ahead and turn what you need to turn. Now, the problem that I found with that is I was trying to figure out on a 4 dimple. I went ahead and progressive pinned it, took it to 3. 3 I could pick without issue. 4, I knew that the pin had to be further down just because of the way the key was operating. And so I hit it and realized that it was binding, but it started to actually spin the flag. So I had turned it too hard, noob mistake. But it took the screw out, turned it back in the right configuration, put the screw back in. It hasn't happened again, but I know better than to turn like that. And then also another issue is getting lost. So if you're trying to turn and you turn the flag, and for some reason it gets out of hand, and you okay, let me orientate myself. Okay, this is here, that's there. If you're turning it, by hand, and you don't see that screw hole, that can be an issue. Seeing the Multi-Pick, the silk screen is a little bit light. I know this is a really nice, metal handle. It's great. I do like it, but at the same time, it's kind of this line right here. I feel like that line should be where the flag is facing, maybe. I don't know. But you have orientation marks. It's not the end of the world. You learn about orientation marks pretty well when you're messing with this stuff. So these guys, they're not an issue. I can probably out of hand go ahead and mess with this guy. Let me go through. Next up, black flag. There is no way to change the flag. Orientation is the keyhole. Flag size is pretty good. So we're comparing a 10 to here, where we're slightly off from a 10. Not quite there. Pretty good set. I like it. This was the first time I was able to pick this guy out of hand. It came with a ton of tension tools. So the Z tensioners, these things are great. Like them. They're a lot of fun, because when you start looking at float picking for anything higher level, even when it comes to pin locks, you want something that fits your keyhole, fits the keyway perfectly. So getting a bunch of these along with all of your other tension tools, you may not have to have that horrible configuration of crisscrossed scissor pattern tension tools. So I do like these. This was the first time that I got a false set on this Avis. All right, now on to the Honest. The Honest set, What I honestly have to say about it is that if you do not own a Dremel tool, I would not buy this set. It comes completely squared off. It is very, very squared off to the point where it was unusable in here. Couldn't get anything to turn. The smallest flag is still too big for this keyway. This keyway is fairly open. I think the Canard pin and pin is a little more open. The multi-lock is less open. So if you can't fit in the Avis, you're not going to fit into multi-lock. Multi-lock is the 500-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to pin and pin Dimple. So immediate issue there. And it does not turn because that's squaring. Now, 30-40 seconds with the Dremel tool, and then probably about another 30-40 seconds with a file to make it nice and smooth. You end up with a nice turnable flag. The issue that I've come across with these flags, and these are some of the smallest flags that came in this set. So these three are the ones that I chose because this would be the equivalent to your 4 or 5, and I don't know what this other guy would be. I think this is a very, very, straight flat flag. So somewhere around the 4 or 5 mark, and then just a standard. The flags here compared to the standard 5, we're talking about the same width. The height is, and I mean, like, you're splitting hairs here because it really is like, about 0.5 millimeter. The issue is, even with that 0.5 millimeter, it still does not fit correctly. And so what ends up happening is you've got to grind it down. So, sorry if that noise is coming through, but, I'm sure it's terrible. The nice thing is that it is it's a nice file. So this file is absolutely going to keep it smooth. But yeah, we're still a little ways away. But what we're looking for on this is just the ability to hit the pin the same way that we're hitting it. When we go and we do our number 5s. So, and I want to say that these, let's from that direction. So, I want to say this guy is maybe it was him. Yes. This is the guy that we really need to worry about. So getting him in there and getting him to be able to pick things up and not get under the pins is critical. So I have already put this lock into a fall set with these guys. The fall set is the most I'm going to do because this does require float picking. It's dead core. I will see whether or not after grinding this down, let's see what we get. And grind them down about 0.5 millimeter. And once I get it ground down, sure it sounds like I'm beating my dog in here. The concern that I have, these guys, like I said, I turned it too hard, which, that's turning it like a freaking ape to get it to actually spin out. But like, you could probably lift a car with this thing. You can probably, bring it the whole 0.5 millimeter off the floor. Multi-lock, I'm not concerned about. Sparrows, I was a little worried about. So as I pointed out, the screw in here, that means that you can go ahead and readjust. These guys are a nice big giant tang here, but after sanding them down, they kind of an uneven shaft now. I don't know how that's going to work. Let's see. Oh man, it honestly feels like I'm just not making progress on the sanding here. I think I've just got a little bit off the edge of the flag left to go. And soften the. There we go. We do not need kitchen knife sharpness on that. Yeah, let me see where I put my handy dandy tensioner for this particular lock. Alright, so this guy found that I can stab him with one of these, one side of these. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Yep. And so I do feel that this doesn't feel terrible. This also doesn't feel like it's lifting any pins. Oh, yep, got something there. A little stiff still. Probably could use good sanding. Little clicks here and there. Not terrible. Not great. I mean, this is not the Sparrow set. I'll put it that way. The Sparrow set was pretty nice. The pinning on this thing is also just hilarious. It's like a zero lift, full lift, and it just kind of goes like that throughout the entire keyway. It's like you got just tons and tons of space to mess with here. So I would say that I think these are okay, but it is a matter of potentially needing to have a functional real set next to you. So the honest set, I would say, is not necessarily not the greatest, certainly. Yeah, I hate that. Get that little click, and you're like, did something move? I love it, but at the same time, I hate it with this particular lock because this is, it's like I said, generally a float pick because of the dead core. So a blue level Dimple lock, it's fun, yeah. Oh, and of course, there you go. My tension just decided to give up on me. So yeah, that is functional now. I did get a better feeling out of it than I did in the past. Let's see what we get with. Get this jammed in here properly again. There we go. I think that works. And we will go with the larger flag. It's this guy. Oh, yeah. Wrong flag for what I'm doing, but it'll work. As plenty of people have seen all over the comments on any of the lock pickers or Discord or anything, all anybody needs is the number 5 multi pick, right? Like, it is the best Dimple flag out there. So there you go. Got enough of a turn that I would say that I'm getting into that false set. It's so funny when it's like, can you feel feedback? Yeah, I'm pushing on it in a way that might actually be affecting the core. So yeah, I can feel feedback. So yeah, I felt the core move. I felt the equivalent of a false set on here. I did not feel that with an unmodified Honest Dawn. So trying to use any of the flags from Honest Dawn out of the box, you are not going to feel a false set. This guy was using, yeah, okay, that's good. And making up the pin stack. This feels fine. This honestly does not feel as bad as anticipated. I'll put it that way. This is supposed to be the. They're watching me like really just wrench on this thing. So yeah, I don't care about this lock. Come on, give me something good. Yeah. Come on, give it to me, lady. It's right there. I just can't get the flag to rest on it. I would say that this is this is doing it for me as of right now. In comparison, in the past, this absolutely was not doing it for me. This was absolutely completely unusable as far as dimple picking. So properly sanded down, Honest Dawn, good to go. Sparrows, I am actually very concerned about doing this on camera because I have a strong feeling about this that I might actually get an open on this guy. Let's see what we get here. Yep, got that little miniature false set. As usual, different strokes, different folks. Like, I might sit here and go, oh yeah, this thing is great for me. I actually finally get the feedback that I've been looking for. And in the end, somebody's going to be like, I don't get any of the feedback that he was telling me. You might not. It might be that, what I'm feeling 100% is me, and you're not going to feel that the same way. And so, come on, buddy. Let's get right in here. It's so funny too because you go through it a couple times and you like just bump a pin and all of a sudden you hit that false set and it's like, what did I do? I don't know what I did, but I need to do it again. Yeah. You can see where the tensioner is. Let's see what happens when we reset. Didn't really hit that false set the same way that I've had in the past. I do like this set. Again, I think my biggest fear, and I mean, like, I honestly, like, the honest set, like, what's going to happen if I lose a flag that I'm using is I'm going to go ahead and take out the Dremel tool and I'm going to carve the flag, another flag to be the flag that I'm using. You will see on forums people, loudly declaring, like I said, that the number 5 is the best, best one out there. Okay, so I did feel at that time this did move. With the multi-pick, yeah, that number 5 is critical. That is you've got to have that thing. If you're messing with pin and pin, any of that, I bought the 10 because I was having a really hard time differentiating very specific things. So I could not identify the edge of the pin properly. And so it just made life a lot easier for me to go ahead and grab that number 10. And then I don't have to worry about it. I stick the number 10 in. I am not going to overset anything. Yeah, it looks like I overset everything in this guy. So I ended up with 5, 10, 4, and 11. Ended up with these guys. Ended up with my Honest On set. So Sparrows, I think, is fantastic. Multi-pick absolutely does fantastic work. I was able to bring us to false set with the wrong direction of flag. So this would take a 4 or 11. Honest Ons, I feel bad for saying it, but if you don't own a Dremel tool, I wouldn't. If you have a power sander, or if if you've got enough time with multiple variants of sandpaper going from high grit to low grit, go for it. Just know that what you're going to get is this is not functional. This will not lift a pin in a blue level lock. I would not even try to stick this in my canard because it's a similar keyway, a little bit tighter of a keyway. And so it will absolutely just not rotate because of that squared off piece right there. Now, that being said, let me see if I've got, I should have an Allen wrench around here somewhere. I think it's visible enough from where we are. This has kind of that blade going down with a spot very specifically to unscrew in order to get it open. Double check real quick here. Should have. There used to be a really nice additional piece inside of this set that you can hook onto the back and spin. That ain't gonna work. Double checking the Allen wrenches in my desk drawer real quick before I say, no, we're not going to do this anymore. I think I might have found it. There we go. All right. Let's So, blade, that nice thick piece right there. Kind of worries me that it looks like once you take that out, this thing spins freely. There's nothing on either side of it. So you really do have to align. And I'm guessing that if you were to lose connection, if you were to screw around like I did with my multi picks and accidentally go too far with applying pressure, that would mean that this guy is just going to spin. And so now I have another concern with it in that, yeah, did I even get that in there straight enough? Proper alignment. And this is fully visual. Like there's no other method to guide this down. I mean that, like I just showed, they work. That isn't really the problem. They do work. You have to work on them a bit to make them functional. But then if you were to lose your flag here, look at that. So I'm going in sideways, and it's just pushing this thing all the way back to the back. Yeah. Granted, at the price, you can just buy new ones if they screw up, right? So that's one of the things that kind of surprised me with Dimple flags. I think I watched a couple Bosnian Bill videos where he was like, "Yeah, I've got these titanium tension tools," and you're like, titanium tension tools, and then the multi-pick can lift a car. Like, what's going on when it comes to dimples? You know, like, why is it that we're stuck in a situation like that? That's a lot of force behind these tiny little flags. But yeah, that's my review on the three most popular out there: the Sparrows, multi-pick, Honest Don. If anybody knows of any other types, let me know. I loathe the tension tool that came with the Honest Don. This is just weird. Multi-pick, the tension tool, I got a single one with CMFXA. I think they're not that bad. Well, actually, no, they're pretty bad. I think they're $7 a piece. And in the end, you're talking about a bent piece of steel. Like that's a bit much. But fit and finish, yeah, they're probably fine. Sparrows, the fact that you get that entire box with it, that makes it a pretty decent value. I want to say that from multi-pick, these two would probably be $40 to $60, somewhere in there for these two picks, somewhere in that range. And then additional pick heads, the additional flags that you can use inside of the handle. They'd be a little pricey, $10 to $25, depending on what website you're on. I have not seen individual flags for sale from Honest Don. You just buy the entire set for $40, $30. I think these are on Amazon. Again, then you have to use a Dremel, use a rasp, use whatever you have, get it knocked down to the correct size. Sparrows, good out of the box. I mean, this really is that. So, immediate off the shelf, somebody's in a store that actually sells picks, they're buying this. Professional equipment, that's multi-pick. Sparrows prosumer. So you're somewhere between professional and standard consumer. The Sparrows is fitting that niche completely. Absolutely works the way as intended. I would love to see some flags, a real legitimate set of flags come out of Covert Instruments. I have not seen anything advertised as a true flag system from them. I believe that they may have worked with Sparrows or somebody else on other things. And then, let's see. What else do I have for that? I guess the only other thing to talk about with it is that problem. So, if you guys caught the video that I had on the everyday carries, you guys will know that my everyday carry of choice is going to be the Swick. This is my absolute favorite. Love it. See that? Doesn't roll. It's great. So if I'm picking and I set down my Swick, you set down one of these guys. I don't know if I covered why these are bent all to hell. I did stress test multiple brands. I will cover that later. That doesn't roll. So when you're going from single pin picking over to flag picking, these roll. Sparrows did a good job. They have a design that stays in place. It does not roll. I really like that. The Z turners that you're going to have on there, your tension tools aren't going to roll, obviously. And I mean, really, when you get to the end of the journey of I want to pick all the locks, and you end up with the one of these guys, you're going to end up with a bunch of tools. Some of them actually you just need to go ahead and buy the vise. Live with the fact that you're going to be a lock picking person that has to sit at a desk with a vise and pick your locks. When it comes to the equipment all the way up to that, though, this is where the big, to me, transition happened with, this stuff is going to roll off at the desk. This is going to roll off my nightstand when I'm, sitting in my bedroom watching TV, picking a lock, and I set my my picks down. I actually I have a nice bedroom where I'm able to sit at a couch at the end of my bed. So the little side table, when I set these down, I have to worry about it getting knocked off. That is a bit of a concern. Sparrows, not so much of a concern. And then let's see, the other thing I guess really to be considered of is a lot of these have almost proprietary shaping. And so as you use them, you may get used to, I don't know that I'm going to be able to zoom in far enough, but the Sparrows has almost a scoop. It's rounded. And so you have this weird shovel. It's not hard, straight, narrow flags. Honest Dawn is very squared off, very, very geometric. They have an absolute just square piece of metal there. Probably could also be sharpened at the edge so it gets under the pins a little bit better. The multi-pick is nice and sharpened out of the flag. I want to say these are slightly rounded. The number 5 is very squared off, but again, sharpened at the edge of the flag. And so when you dig in, this will actually dig in as you, before you push up. So you'll get a bit more leverage there, and you'll get it on the corners where you won't get it with the Sparrows. And then with the Honest Dawn, it's not, you can go ahead and, again, grind it down, as you're building your own pick. I almost feel like this could be a blue belt challenge, just making the Honest Dawn a functional flag. That's my project, is I'm going to shave it down until I can actually pick a lock with this thing. And that's my blue belt challenge. I've already picked the lock. I just need to do something that proves that I know more about lock picking. So that's another minor concern. You're going to find brand centrism on this. Again, you're going to find a lot of people that say that the number 5 is the only thing you need. Maybe. If that's what you've used and you found that you can actually do everything you need to with a 5, absolutely fantastic. A lot of challenges out there are use a single pin pick. You are only allowed to use one. So yeah, number 5, if you know how to do it, great. I'm still learning, so I bought the smaller one. I think when it comes to the sparrows, you get a lot of sparrows just buying straight out of their market for absolutely everything. Uh, that's great. They've got good products. Like I said, my concern was the rounded edges on that. I can still do a lot with the sparrows. That is, again, the first time I got a false set on this guy because my honest were too big to even get inside the keyway. And then once they were in the keyway, they were too squared off. So I think Sparrow saves the day. Completely functional product. Probably pretty close to the ideal. And then considering that multi-pick is about the only one where it's logical to replace the flags, the price is right on these. I didn't check Sparrows to see if they sell individuals. If they do, that's also an ideal. You can buy an individual for replacement if anything were to happen. The Honest Don, if anything were to happen to any of your flags, again, I would just reshape an existing flag into whatever it is you're missing. And then when you get down to the bottom of the barrel, then you just replace the entire set because they are not that expensive. I believe the entire set of Honest Don is less than 2 flags and a handle from multi-pick. So, all right. Yes, all of these things will pick a lock. Some of them easier than others, some of them more functional, and some of them will require you to own other tools. So the question you got to ask yourself is, do I own a Dremel tool and a file? If the answer is yes to that, then go ahead and get the Honest Don. If you want something that is going to last quite a while and is going to be fully functional and have replaceable parts, go with the multi-pick. If you want the prosumer that comes with a ton of tension tools, I would go with Sparrows. Sparrows, again, I think is probably, for the price, the best buy out of this group. Multi-pick is number 2 as far as what I would spend my money on. Honest Don is it's a project. It's not as easy or as usable out of the box as anything else that I've used. So, all right. Thank you guys very much, and I will talk to you all again later.